right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here once again. We are at Charlotte Motor Speedway here with Virtual Racing Network. Tonight is the RACECORE Online Racing League. This is their truck series presented by Leo's Coney Island. And again, all we can say, will it go caution-free? We'll see. They have a trend here of going caution-free in this series, so we'll be looking for that here tonight. Will that happen again tonight? But before we get into, of course, all the racing details and all of that good stuff coming up, we want to go through all the partners here that make this possible, starting with the broadcast side of things. We have Walls Beard Co. Guys, if you're out there and you have a beard, and we know there is a lot of you that do, you need to take care of it. You need to make it look good and healthy. So make sure you head over to wallsbeardco.com. Get some of their beard balm. It is all natural and organic. So not only will you look good, they also have lots of scents in there, vanilla being one of those. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute with our second chair here tonight. Jeff Stabnells will introduce him. We have some great products over there. Make sure you head on over to wallsbeardco.com, simspeedshop.com. If you are an iRacer, you need one of their products, if not both of them. They have some great customizable button boxes that you can check out, as well as some e-brakes if you get into rallycross racing, or really if you just like to throw dirt around. They're fun. You can hit that e-brake and do some donuts there. Just some great products. So head on over to simspeedshop.com. Northwest Racing Series, they are the official one-to-go sponsor here, so when the white flag does wave, it will be presented by Northwest Racing Series. If you're looking to get into that series, they run their fixed Xfinity Series on Monday night at 8:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central. That is when we go live, and the lobby opens a little bit before that. And of course, same time, but on Thursday you can get in the trucks. That is their open series. They are in the chase right now, so that series is coming to an end. They will take a little break and come right back to racing, so you can look up Northwest Racing Series on iRacing for that. If that's not your thing, but you want some IndyCar racing, head on over to Ohio IndyCar League on iRacing. You can also look them up at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. They are no longer just taking Ohio club members, so if IndyCar racing is your thing, head on over there. They are actually broadcasted on a sister channel over there at Max Speed TV. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. If you're looking to get into broadcasting or just need some overlays made for streaming, there is your guy, Jason Allison, over at ibog.co. Probably the best in the business, and you will not be disappointed. So head on over there to ibog.co to get those made. On the racing side of things, one of their general sponsors here, that is Global Building Contractors. They are the presenting sponsor on the Xfinity Series, but tonight they are just a general sponsor. So big shout out to them for coming on board, as well as iRacing Drivers World. Over 7,000 members, almost 8,000 members, and growing daily. It is your place to go for comments. You can post pictures, videos, whatever you need to do. Talk about iRacing with all the other iRacers out there. Head on over to iRacing Drivers World and join that page today. And the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, big shout out to them. That is Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills. If you're over in the Rochester Hills area, you need to stop in and give them a shake on the hand and thank them for joining this series. They have done a great job. That's why we're here. They're the ones footing the bill. So big shout out to these. They are great guys and gals over there putting this on. So make sure you thank them at Leo's Coney Island. That being said, it's time to introduce the second chair here tonight. And that is, of course, as we introduce him, the one and only Jeff Stabnow, back in the booth here after a little vacation.
Yeah, some call it a vacation. I'm going to call it unemployment, but thanks for having me back, Charles. You've got me staring at this Leo's Coney Island menu again, man, because I just got here straight from work and haven't had time to eat dinner yet, man, and this menu is just fantastic.
Well, the good news is you are getting paid again, so you can afford to get off that menu there.
All right, man. We're at Charlotte tonight. I'm looking forward to this. Charlotte is it's kind of a unique track. It's we've got a little bit of verticality that comes into it and makes it tough. It's a 1.5 mile oval. Just got tons of grip, super smooth track, and running it at night, you can really bring it into the corners pretty hard. You got a lot of grip. As a matter of fact, it's really easy to abuse those front tires with all the grip that you've got available to them there. But you've got a rise there getting into turn one, which I think we talked about in the Xfinity series here with these guys, that when you get into it, it gets that truck just a little bit light and you're turning into turn one there, and it wants to set that rear end around on you. Turn two, again, we said we got a lot of grip, but a little tighter than you think it is. Real easy to push into the wall, or even easier to just have a little too much wheel into it and get it loose. And when you hit that throttle and get just a little too much wheel in it, it'll just turn it right around with all that front grip. And then when the tires get old, we'll run into the same problem coming off too. And these things will actually get squirrely coming down the quad oval. So all that grip lets these guys drive it hard. They get these tires hot, and then they have their hands full later in the race. So these guys will be wheeling it, and it should be fun to watch.
Definitely will be, as we'll pull up the race analysts here, as they do have a very cool night here. Only 78 degrees. Obviously, it is partly cloudy at night, so we don't have a whole lot of heat to deal with in this track. And we did talk to some of the drivers here in the before the pre-race show here. 90 laps, 135 miles. We have the fuel and tire window both right around 23 to 25 laps. Is they were telling us the tires aren't going to wear off a whole lot here, but their window here, they said probably they would pit closer to the 23 lap mark to divide this into three segments. But 3 or 4, you tell me, but they very well could go up to 25. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. And, like you said, the older these tires get, the more chances of a caution to come out. These tires are going to get a little tricky here in the tri-oval. So will that caution-free trend continue here, or will we have a caution? Cautions will definitely change the pit strategy here, and we may see a couple of different strategies from these drivers.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict cautions, whether or not we're going to have cautions. You can take the best drivers on the service and throw them on a track and end up having a caution fest because, they're all racing each other so hard, or sometimes you can take that same group of guys and put them on a different track, and they'll get so spread out on a long green flag run that they'll never run into each other. As far as tonight goes, because there's so much grip on this track, and it is so hard not to try to get more out of your truck. You really can get those tires heated up. I would be surprised if we go caution free, but I think I've said that the last couple of races with these guys. This crew's been pretty good at avoiding the cautions, but Charlotte is going to be a tough track to keep that streak going.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't think I've seen too many races here that have gone caution-free. Again, we haven't been here with the trucks with this group of guys, so they could change that for us here. But I'm with you. I think coming out of Turn 2, that tri-oval, it's like a little magnet coming there out of the Turn 4 and getting into there. And one thing that we've talked about it before, and we'll say it again, Turn 1, like you said, Turn 1 is a very tricky corner. If you get into it too low, you can self-spin. I'll be looking for that here tonight to see if anyone does that. Will they do it in a group? That's the thing. We saw these guys going 4 wide here in practice. That didn't work. I don't think we'll see that in the race. They're just kind of testing their limits to see what they can and can't do here. But again, overall, I think it's going to be a great race. And while we have a moment here, we'll pull up our point standings. Pretty good battle, but Jamir Muhammad, who we watched Sunday night come from the back to finish in top 3. What a run for him there. But he is your leader here by 41 points, so he has a significant lead over Mikey Neal.
Yeah, well, Jamir Muhammad has been on some kind of roll lately. He's figured something out. We've talked about it numerous times in these broadcasts lately. He has figured out how to drive fast and protect these tires. And the other guys in this series they're all looking to see what he's figured out. Now, that means that when we get these long green flag caution-free races, advantage Jamir. if we get some of these shorter stints and we get a few cautions and all that, maybe it's not advantage Jameer anymore. But right now he's up front on the points. He's got a comfortable lead, and he's running super good right now. I mean, we talked to guys, and I think the consensus is he's probably the favorite in this race.
Yeah, I think he is too. We talk about the broadcaster's curse. Everyone you talk to says pick Jameer. It's kind of a joke, but it seems like it does happen here. So we don't intend to pick anyone just so they'll wreck. If we pick Jameer when it comes there time to pick, it's strictly because we think he has the car or truck here to win. But it seems like it does have a little bit of a curse here for the broadcasters. Not so much for you as me, I think, but it's kind of weird the way it happens like that. You could chalk it up to just luck or bad luck, whichever you want to say. But looking at the point standings, based off of this, there's a lot of drivers you could pick here. I expect to see Jameer Muhammad, Mikey Neal, Austin Edstrom, Brian Dorsey up there. David Gainforth, he usually a top 10 car, but he's been picking it up quite a bit lately as well. He's sitting in 5th in points, and after Sunday's race, I don't think you can count out Justin Starr. He was right there, and I think that next to last caution really hurt him.
Well, yeah, and looking at these top guys in the points here, there's one guy I want to point out. That's Mikey Neal. To me, it's a little bit of a surprise to see him up there in second, but it's really not. I've been covering these guys for a while now, and Mikey Neal is just a guy that, early in the season we said, look, Austin Edstrom and Bryson Barker are kind of in a league of their own. And then Jameer Muhammad was in that league. And then Jameer Muhammad might have kind of been in his own league, and Austin Edstrom right there battling him. And, we always kind of thought of Mikey Neal maybe being a tier below those guys. But here over the last month, Mikey Neal has been, maybe he doesn't have the wins to show for it. He's got wins, but he's been right there neck and neck. He's always in the mix with that lead pack. He's right there with Austin Edstrom, Bryson Barker, Jameer Muhammad. So I'm really liking watching Mikey Neal here lately in second place. Austin Edstrom in third place. He's a wheelman. He'll go out there. He can drive it hard lap after lap after lap. He can burn those tires up, and he can still just get some fast times out of it. I mean, Austin Edstrom's a driver. Brian Dorsey and David Gainforth, they just, in the truck series here, they're just consistently up front, top 3, top 5, running in that range a lot. And then Justin Starr, like you said, he's kind of like the crafty veteran of this series. When it comes down to strategy calls, he always seems to make the right calls to put himself in a position to win. And if it weren't for just a little bit of bad luck, he'd probably have a couple in this series, or at least in the Xfinity series. We saw Dover there where he was leading with like 1 to go, and with a nice strategy call, and things just didn't work out for him. And then, of course, like you said, Sunday night, things didn't end well, but there he was with 2 to go, starting up front.
Yeah, definitely, and that's another kind of a trend we've seen here too, is people running up front and having bad luck, whether it be running out of fuel, a wreck, getting DQ'd from getting bumped from behind, disconnecting from the race due to connection issues. So that being said, you see someone that leads 70 of the 90 laps here tonight, being up front all night isn't necessarily maybe the best place you want to be based on that trend we've seen. And we have seen a couple of guys that came in here, didn't lead the most laps, but ended up winning the race. So maybe that's the strategy you want to be, hang back, 4th, 5th, and then in those closing laps actually work your way to the front. So we'll see if that works. Obviously it worked for Jameer Muhammad to work his way up there. And again, we just don't know how things are going to play out. Will we have a lot of cautions? If we do, that'll shake things up here a little bit. I expect probably to see maybe 2-3 cautions here tonight. We could have none. We could have more than that, though.
Well, a couple things here that you brought up. So to comment on those, first of all, I don't think you'll ever convince me that not being up front is the best strategy. Being up front, having that clean air, having nobody in front of you that you got to dodge if they wreck or slide, or nobody taking your line away from you. Yeah, not being up front is to me never a better option than being up front. However, if you can't be up front, then you've got to look at your other strategies, in the back, and or maybe coming through the field or something like that. Now, if you're just out here for a good time and want to pass cars, sure, maybe that's the best strategy. But if you want to win, you got to be out front. Most of the time, anyways. As to your other point about the cautions, man, it's such a fickle thing trying to predict cautions. We got a crew here that drives with a ton of respect. They do not often put each other in bad positions. And they can all drive, but we've got a track that just invites you to overdo it. These corners, the exits of both of these corners are so much tighter than you think. You come flying into these corners, and you just want to get on that throttle, and you want to crank some wheel into it, and you think it's going to take it, and then it doesn't. You snap into the wall, bounce off, spin down the track, or maybe you don't, into the wall, the front wheels do hold, and then the rear end comes around. So this track really it tempts you to overdrive it. So I don't know what we're going to see tonight. Hard to predict, but I do think we'll see some great racing.
Yeah, I do too think we'll see some great racing, and we had the thing in there. We'll answer it here too as well. What donations are for? Donations to the VRN. Really, just if you want to, it kind of lets you be part of it here. Any donations we get in go right back into obviously VRN to software, hardware, anything like that we have to acquire. It just gives you a way to know that you're part of it, and we may do stuff in the future here where we have, like a donators race or something. We've done stuff like that in the past. So, not saying we will for sure, but, anything like that could help. So, any little thing helps keep us go here. Unfortunately, is not free to do this, but we do it because we love it.
Well, and because you own this company and probably don't want to say it, I'll say it. A lot of times you do these races for less than it costs you to do them, just because this is what you want to do. This is what you enjoy doing, and there's expenses associated with that. So we've got the leagues and the sponsors that help pay for that. But to make this affordable for everybody, we try to cut the costs, and so donations help offset that.
They do indeed, and again, it's always optional. It is definitely you don't have to do it. It's just something we put out there if you want to, just to kind of show your support for the racers and the fans. It keeps us going, which then keeps us out here for these drivers, which is definitely why I do it. Love watching these guys race, putting on a good show. But that being said, speaking of a good show and keeping it going, it's time to get to the national anthem. That is something we do here on the VRN. Always like to play the national anthem. So we are going to step away here for just a moment, and we will be back here in just a minute after that national anthem with qualifying.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back here once again. Qualifying is underway, so we are going to jump down to the track with these guys, and we'll pull up your driver bar. And the first one we see is Mikey Justified Neal here, as they officially put that in his name. So I guess that makes it official then.
Yeah, Mikey, named after the Triple Crown winner, says he aspires to be a Triple Crown winner himself, so he's picked up the name Justified from his teammates.
He has indeed, and we'll see if he can be justified here and win this race. As we'll have to see. Nobody's put in times just yet, but it will be coming in here shortly, as we have the majority of the guys out on the track, and we did get a confirmation earlier that there are no EOLs here tonight. So if they don't qualify, it's because they want to start at the back of this field, as times are starting to roll in. So we'll pull them up there on your overlay there. But Jeff Pogo here, someone that we have not talked about very often. He has raced before, though. He is at the top with a 30.236.
Yeah, and James Morgan in the 12 truck brings it in second right now with a 30.249. And Justin Starr in that VRN 99 truck, who we did talk about in the pre-race, bringing it in third there until Mikey Justified Neal jumps up to the top of the board.
And Alex Huffman is going to go to the top above him with a 30.084. And, I was scared. We talked about before we went back live who we might pick for the race win here. And, everyone that we picked there was at the bottom, but they're starting to come to the top here. So this may throw a little wrinkle in here as to who we're going to pick for the possible our win here. Is we're seeing some people in qualifying up at the top that weren't there in practice.
Yeah, and there's a difference between qualifying. That's one hot lap, and going out there and practicing. Some guys will practice a hot lap, and some guys thinks it helped them find the line, right? Get that hot lap down, find where that line is, and then back off and work on that. And some guys will just go out there and practice their long run. So I don't put a whole ton of stock in practice numbers or even qualifying numbers there. If I was going to look at one, I would probably look more at the consistency of the practice lap times.
Yeah, definitely would too. And we do want to give a shout out to one of my favorite guys out here. Of course, I know him quite well. That is Chuck Kemper. Just sent in $10 for a donation. So big shout out to Chuck Kemper for that. Times are coming in here. Roger Muth just went to 10th with a 30.308. So not a whole lot of time separating these top 10 guys right now.
No, not really. We've got 3/10. Alex Huffman's kind of up there. He's the only guy with a 30.0, but after that, if you look at like Jameer Mohammed, 30.128. James Lorello, 30.135, 7 1,000ths of a second, right? I can't even, that's closer than a reflex, or you can't do something that fast. That's how close these guys were. So we've got Jeff Page at 30.164. Mikey Justified Neal, 30.191. So the difference between second place and fifth place is about 5/10 of a second, or 5/100ths of a second. I mean, it's ridiculously close right now.
It is ridiculous close. Cody Levitt's going to get a 8th place time here with a 30.253, and Chris Brown, a new driver here for the series, is going to jump to 5th now with a 30.173. So coming in here for his first race and already a top 10 qualifying time.
Yeah, and something else I noticed, Austin Edstrom a little bit further down on the starting grid here tonight than we used to see him. He's one of the guys that we typically see up front, and he's going to have to, if he's going to get up there, he's going to have to come from the middle of the pack. Sitting there at 9 with his 30.224. Again, not very far off the front guys, but that's how close they are in front of him right now.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of work cut out for him here. As we'll look at another new guy here who's going to put in a time now. That is Tony Rice, as the time will end, and he is not going to get a time in here as the clock expires. So Tony Rice waited a little too late and not going to be able to put in a time at the very last second.
Yeah, and I want to point out Cody Levitt and Austin Edstrom. Look at those times, 30.224. They were tied down to the thousandth of a second, so they had to go to the 10,000th of a second to break that tie. So that's how close these guys were running these lines for qualifying tonight.
Definitely some just ridiculous times here, but it is that time again to go through the Walls of Beardco starting grid as they are starting to take to the grid here. Jeff, you want to run through our first 4 rows here for us, and then I will finish this off.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting in P1, we have Alex Huffman, the guy that I say I always have to watch come from the back of the pack. That's not going to happen tonight. He's starting on the front row on the inside. Outside of him is the guy that everybody fears right now, Jabir Mohammed. He's got this long run figured out. Inside row 2 there, we've got James Lorello. And outside of him, we've got series newcomer, but obviously a competitive driver, Chris Brown. Row 3 on the inside, we've got Jeff Pogo. And on the outside of row 3, we've got Mikey Justified Neal. Starting in P7, row 4, we've got the 12 of James Morgan, and right outside him, we've got the 38 and 8 spot of Cody Brent Levitt.
In a row of 5 is going to be the 88 of Austin Edstrom, and those outside in 10th place is going to be the 81 of Ed Sauls. And at row 6, it is going to be in 11th place, Jeremy Evans, who can't see his number. There it is. Why to believe he is the 4. And the 39 in 12th place of Roger Muth. In row 7 is going to be the 99 of Justin Starr. To his outside is going to be the 87 of John Van Varelis. In row 8, it is going to be the 132 of Jack Leffler and the 2 of Jared Hagerdorn. And in row 9, it's going to be the 47 of Trevor Graffam and the 64 of Tony Rice. And I believe that will do it. There are no more rows here. So 9 rows of cars, 18 drivers making the grid. And the lights are off. So that means we're ready to get this thing going as the pace car will officially dive off. And there it is. Green flag is out. We are racing here on lap 1 of 90. 135 miles left to race.
Yeah, great start by Alex Huffman there, jumping out front there. He's got to hold that. We're single file for the first 3, and then we've got Mikey Neal up there all ready to P4, completing the pass there over Chris Brown. So good start by Mikey Neal too.
He is indeed, and it looks like we figured here they enter a little higher and then they kind of come down. You do not want to enter too high here or too low here, as it's a very good possibility you will spin out. And we'll see it here in turn 1 as they come into turn 1 anyway. You see them, they enter pretty high and dip it down low. That was what we were talking about earlier, is you can't just dive it in real low. If you do, you're probably going to spin out. There's just not a whole lot of grip down there.
Well, I think it's more of a, early on with the fresh tires, I think you can get away with it, but it's more of a product of how much you're going to have to turn that wheel and how much you're going to burn your tires off. Arcing it up from a little bit higher, you're making that corner a little bit wider, and you can really save on your tires doing that too. And then again, you're not having to turn that as sharp. So later when your tires do wear, it does get real difficult, like you're saying, to even run that line at all.
Yeah, and you get kind of used to running, and you're going to want to. So good reason to not do it now, even though you probably could. But looks like Ed Sauls has got his hands full right now on that 81 machine. He's got the 38 of Cody Levitt in front of him, and the 4 of Jeremy Evans right behind him, and even the 39 of Roger Muth getting into the mix. As right about close to the rear midfield area, they're starting to mix it up pretty good, as the front of the field is kind of spread out. Not a whole lot going on up there at the moment.
We've got Mikey Neal making a pass on the inside here for 3rd place, trying to get by James Lorello right now. So he actually was able to get up beside him, but Lorello was able to keep it on the high side as they get into turn 3 and 4. Lorello with a much better exit, and Mikey's going to have to regroup and try it again here.
He is indeed. And, we talked about who we were going to pick, but we didn't actually say who we were picking here for the win. So we have just a moment here where they're kind of not really doing a whole lot of racing up front. Who was it that you were going with here for tonight's win?
I got to say, I told you I was going to go with Alex Huffman, and that was before he took the pole. So, I don't like to take the front runners, and he's front running tonight, but I'm going to have to go with Alex Huffman. He's my pick.
Yeah, and I was going to go with the 13 of James Lorello. I want to go with Jameer Mikey as well. If I could pick three, I would. Again, these guys up here running very good times. And just really fast, but I think I'm going to go with James here. I just feel he has a shot here tonight running in third place, so we'll see if he can hold off Mikey Neal. I think he stands a pretty good chance.
Yeah, we got Jameer Muhammad here is kind of getting all over the bumper of Alex Huffman, and I'm seeing him get in better on one corner, not on the other, so I don't know if he's got Alex Huffman over driving it all or if Alex Huffman's just hitting his line, but we're kind of getting bunched up behind the leader here right now, so it looks like Jameer's kind of poking and prodding, looking for a way around, and James Lorello's wanting to stick his nose in there too, so I'm looking for some action here real quick up front.
Yeah, and Jameer Muhammad, the guy that can conserve tires. And he's right there. James Lorello having some connection issues, but Jameer is trying to go down low, and we'll see if he's going to start dipping down a little bit lower. As all these guys are running the same line, and he's running much lower than Alex Huffman, who is running middle to high lane here, and that could be the difference of where they can pass each other. If you run in the same line, you can't pass, so you have to deviate from that line, and hopefully it's a faster line. So that is obviously one big key to passing is you can't run the same line.
Yeah, Jameer Muhammad looks to me like he's hunting and looking for a line right now, and so if you're Alex Huffman, either maybe Alex Huffman's burned up his tires a little bit and he's slowing down, or maybe he's being that crafty guy right now and trying to make Jameer take some lines that he doesn't want to, maybe wear Jameer's tires down. Hard to say. Interesting strategy. Certainly is a good strategy, and we've seen that before where a guy will kind of entice a guy to start running some lines that he wouldn't ordinarily do it and maybe hope to burn his tires up.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I wanted to point out, and I didn't get a chance to earlier, is watching Alex Huffman and Mikey Neal, and I believe if we go back here to Austin Edstrom, those guys are teammates. They're all three running Hooters paint jobs here tonight. So, it's going to be easy to tell those three are teammates. I wish they would have picked a different paint job personally, because I'm kind of hungry, and that's just making it even worse as I didn't get to eat for this race. But very cool to see that they're running not identical, but similar paint jobs here. So we know that those three are on a team, and we'll see if they start working together. They're all right now sitting 1, 3, and 6.
Yeah, and speaking of sixth place, Austin Esterman, 88, he's up from 9th place. He's our biggest mover in the race. Actually, him and Mikey Justified Neal are both up 3 places, but Austin Edstrom turning the fastest lap this time around. So it looks like he might be on the move. And Mikey Justified Neal there, I don't know if we had a chance to mention it, but he was able to complete the pass, get into 3rd place as this lead pack of 3 cars starts to pull away a little bit.
They are indeed, and looks like if we go back here a little bit, the rookie here in this series, Chris Brown, in that one machine, he is having a fantastic run. He started 4th. He's still in 4th. It looked like he is going to get back ahead of the 13 of James Lorello, and here comes James to the inside. Will he get by is the question. But those 3 right there with Austin Edstrom, even if you want to count Jeff Pogo in the 22, they're putting on a good little battle there for currently 4th position.
Yeah, they are. James Lorello had a few connectivity issues, blanked in and out just a little bit. I don't know if that's what caused him to back or if he's used up his tires here a little bit, 13 laps in. If I remember right, these tires are run pretty good for you about 7 or 8, and then you start feeling it. And it looks to me like we're already probably about 0.2 of a second off of their early lap time, so not a surprise. Actually, a second off, not 0.2 of a second, 1.2 seconds off. So definitely some fall off here. These guys are feeling the effects of the worn tires right now.
Yeah, running 30.102 was Jameer Muhammad's fastest lap. His last one was a 31.2. So, yeah, you're right. Just over a second now, actually, on that last lap. So, you know, they may not be handling as far as the handling of it may not be going out too bad. I'm sure it is a little bit. Definitely losing some speed. And, again, as the trend, as we've seen the last couple of races here, does continue. So far, we are 15 laps in, caution-free. We may see this first round of pit stops come in under green flag, as that will be happening in roughly about 7 laps or so.
Yeah, and while we were back there watching that battle, Alex Huffman, something happened there, and he got passed by both Mikey Neal and Jameer Muhammad. So not sure exactly what it was. We missed it. I'm going to go back and try to find it.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll sit here and go back to these 3 behind them, as they're 4 behind them. They're still putting on a good battle here. And it looks like while we were there, the 88 of Austin Edstrom did take 4th place and get by both of these guys. So, yeah, let us definitely know if you find out what happens. We got another little battle starting to brew back here between, it looks to be John Van Rellis, Justin Starr, and Trevor Graffin.
Yeah, and I'm watching it, and it just looks like maybe, Alex Huffman used up his tires a little bit. Jameer was able to get to the inside of him, get by, and Mikey Neal just followed him right through.
Yeah, and that will happen here, you know, especially if you get pushed up out of your groove and you have a freight train of cars. It's not as bad as, say, like Talladega or Daytona, where they can really freight train you by. But if you get pushed out of that preferred line, you will lose a few spots potentially. So we'll see here how it all plays out in the end. But right now we are coming up on pit stops here in about 6-7 laps now. Austin Edstrom is in 4th place, and if you look there, Mikey Neal 2nd, Alex Huffman in 3rd, Austin Edstrom in 4th. Those are 3 teammates sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. So will they work together to get by Jameer Muhammad if they can?
Yeah, you got 3 teammates. They're probably all rooting for each other to get by Jameer Muhammad, but knowing these guys and listening to them give each other a hard time like they do, they're competitors. So I think first and foremost, there isn't a whole lot of team strategy going on there about getting by Jameer. It's kind of an every man for himself philosophy, and we'll just give each other a little bit of space and try not to wreck each other out there.
Yeah, and right now, if anybody's going to be able to get by him, that is Mikey Neal. He is literally, or at least he was. He's not so much now. You couldn't have fit a piece of paper in between their bumpers. He was that close to him. He did fall off just a little bit coming through turn 1 and 2, but watch him here in turn 3 and 4. It looks like maybe he has the better run here, as he will close in quite a bit. At least he was there. It looks like maybe Jameer Muhammad may have found something to help him pull away, but he's closing it and then he'll lose it again. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get by him.
Yeah, good news for Mikey Neal. We're 2 laps away from a full fuel run, and he's able to keep up with Jameer Muhammad for the entire run. So he knows now that he's got something for Jameer Muhammad. Austin Edstrom able to run these guys down, so we know he's going to be a contender. Alex Huffman was up front there. The 2 guys in front of him were a little bit faster toward the tail end of that run, but he knows that he can hang. Maybe he's just got to make a little change and save a little bit more tire. But if you're Mikey Neal, you're real happy with this run right now.
Yeah, and we're on lap 22. Keep in mind, we already have James Zarello coming down pit road. It looks like James Morgan, Justin Starr, and Austin Edstrom coming down without his teammates. So he is coming down a lap earlier than his 2 teammates, which goes to show you right there that they may be teammates, but they're not necessarily going to be running on the same strategy.
Well, if you're Austin Edstrom, right, you're maybe a half a second behind these guys, and you know that there's almost a 2-second off between the laps, right? Fresh tires are worth about 2 seconds right now, or close to it. So if you pit 1 lap earlier, when this all cycles through, chances are you're going to be out in front of those guys about 2 seconds for each lap you pit before them.
It is
so, yeah, you can't tell anybody that. But when it cycles through, there's a good chance Austin Edstrom will be our leader.
It very well could be, as Chris Brown's coming down Looks like Jameer Muhammad is going to be on pit road as well. Cody Levitt down, Roger Mood, so everybody's starting to come down. Mikey Neal is coming down pit road as well now with his teammate Alex Huffman. So they're coming together. And, we don't want to speculate too much here. They're definitely their own individuals here when it comes to pitting. But, there's always that possibility. Not saying it did happen, but there's a possibility that maybe there was some miscommunication and they thought they were coming down that last lap or this time, and that is why they got separated, as the other two did come down together. But again, they're their own drivers. That may not be the case, but it is an option that is out there that could have happened.
Yeah, we can't pretend to know what's going on team radio, but I got a sneaking suspicion Austin Edstrom just short pit on these guys.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's what I'm going with too as well. I think that's the better choice of the choices here, as it looks like now Jack Leffler's going to come down there, Jeremy Evans. So the only three not to a pit is going to be your new race leader, and that is Jeff Pogo, followed by Ed Sauls and Tony Rice. These guys have not pitted yet, so he is going to be considered your race leader in that number 22 machine.
Yeah, we were told 26 laps was really kind of iffy, and we've got Jeff Pogo and Tony Rice out there working on lap 26 right now. So I don't know if we need to worry about these guys running out of fuel, but based on the information we have, it's something worth watching right now.
It is, and it looks like the 22 of Jeff Pogo is going to come in. Ed Sauls did come in on the last lap, so he is completing his stop, and he actually had to back up in his pit stall, so that is going to cost him some time on pit road. He's been there quite a bit longer, having to back up, missing his pit stall.
Yeah, and I think Tony Rice might have run out of fuel. I'm not sure. He looked like he was a little slow there on the apron, but watching him hold that speed now, I'm gonna rescind that. I think he's just fine on fuel right now.
Yeah, he is coming down pit road, and it looks like when this all cycles out, the lead is going to actually go to the one of Chris Brown. So the rookie here tonight leading the race here for the first time. So we'll look. He is about to lead his first lap when he comes around.
Yeah, and so Chris Brown, I'm not sure what happened to Austin Edstrom. He short pit, but something happened to him, and he went way back. He lost a whole bunch of positions. I think he probably would have come out first. Chris Brown short pit at the same time Austin Edstrom did. He came out first. Austin Edstrom's in 10th place.
Yeah, and looking at his pit stop as we're watching him, he was on pit road for 50.2 seconds. Most of these guys are on there for about 40, so he was on there about 10 seconds more than them, and he also took a 15.1 second stop compared to some of these 14.7, so not much of a difference on the actual stop, but he was on pit road at least about 10 to 11 seconds more than the rest of these guys.
Yeah, something definitely happened there. I don't know. Maybe he spun out getting off pit road, or I'll go back and see if I can find it and provide an update. But he's going to have to come to the field again. And right back there with him with the same issue. Maybe these guys, Jameer Mohammed also had a 50-second pit stop. And so these guys went from the front to the middle of the pack on that round of pit stops.
Yeah, they did. And, I mean, you can only take so much fuel, so it wasn't taking more fuel than other drivers or anything like that. So, yeah, something definitely could have happened back there as you're looking that up. You're right. He is in 8th. Austin Edstrom in 9th. And looking back here, we'll see if we can take a look. It looks like Ed Sauls, after all of it, is going to be back in 18th. So that pit stop definitely hurt Ed Sauls, as he is currently now 3 laps down after missing his pit stall. So that pit stall was definitely detrimental to his race. And if this race continues the way it's going, caution-free, that is really going to be something that's going to hurt him, as he won't have a chance to get those laps back.
Yeah, I think if you're anybody that had a tough pit stop here, you want you'd like to see a caution wave and get it reset. I just went back and watched Austin's pit from the time he was in the pits till he exited, and I didn't see anything strange. So whatever it was, it must have been getting in the pit road.
Oh, we do have those new pit crew. We can't see them. Maybe they missed a lug nut or something. They had to go back and do. But again, quite a long pit stop. Pit stop here. Just nothing out of the ordinary. So that is very interesting there. Maybe if we get a caution, we can try to talk to him and see what might have happened. But definitely unfortunate, but he'll work his way back up. I think he definitely has the truck to do it here. We'll see if he can get up there. But again, these are fixed setups, so it's not like he can make a whole lot of changes. So if he was fast before, he's probably going to be fast now. So I don't see any reason why he can't get back to the front.
Yeah. And Chris Brown, our leader, he's got a 1.1 second lead over Justified there, Mikey Neal. And of course, we said that pitting a lap earlier was probably worth close to 2 seconds. So I think that backs that up. He was about a second behind Mikey Neal when they pit. He went a lap earlier. Now he's a second ahead. And Mikey Neal looks like he's running him down here at a pretty steady clip.
Yeah, he definitely is reeling him in. And I'm very surprised, too. I know he pitted 1 lap earlier, but looking at their times, they're already running 31.7s. As that time by, Mikey Justified Neal did run a 31 as well. But he's only running 31.0s. Chris Brown is running 31.2. So that 1 lap is about worth 2/10 out here.
Yeah, so we know that the first 10 laps or so here at Charlotte, call it 8 to 12 laps, you probably lose on average about 1/10 of a second per lap. That's the fall off per lap. So 1 to 2/10 per second per lap. So, a guy that's on fresher tires a lot of times, if they're running the same kind of the race, will be about 1/10 quicker per lap, and of course, when we do our math for 2 seconds on the pit stops, we look at the end of the end of that run versus the first lap on new tires. But fall off is pretty steep on this track.
Yeah, it is definitely steep. Getting to caution free, I don't think the handling's bad. We talked about that. I don't know if the handling is falling off too bad, but they're definitely losing time. And I'd imagine it is going to be a little bit more of a handful here. Obviously, with older tires wear out, they're going to be, tougher to handle. These guys are doing a fantastic job here as we are over a third of the way done with the race, caution-free so far. Looking at that graph real fast, we've had 0 cautions for 0 laps, 54 to go with 4 different lead changes. So, of course, that has been Huffman, Brown, Muhammad, Pogo, and Neal that have led laps here. So 5 different leaders, but 4 different lead changes.
Yeah, and Mikey Neal's on the hunt here, looking to make it add 1 to both of those lists, looking to get the lead here, and looking for another lead change. These 2 guys have pulled quite a bit out on Alex Huffman in 3rd place. They've got about a 4-second gap back to Alex Huffman. And then from Alex Huffman, you got to go back a couple more seconds to get to James Morgan there, who's about 7 seconds behind the leaders. And yet another couple seconds to Justin Starr. So right now, a caution changes everything. But if we don't get one, Mikey Neal and Chris Brown are looking real good after those mishaps with the Jameer and Austin, whatever they were.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to point out here, we just mentioned that we've had several leaders. I want to point this out just because it's an interesting fact that we can see that obviously, the fans out there can't see. So we kind of have to relay it to them. We're used to seeing Jameer Muhammad, Austin Edstrom out front dominating a race, leading, 60, 70 laps of a race. We're not seeing that here tonight. We have Huffman with 13, Brown with 12, Muhammad with 8, Pogo with 4, and Neal with 1. So, as far as the laps led, unless the 1 car of Chris Brown can stay out front and dominate the rest of this race, the laps have really kind of been spread out. They're not been by 1 driver dominating the race so far.
Yeah, no, they're not. That first run, Jameer Muhammad got out front at the end of that run, but he didn't lose these guys, and that's kind of been the thing on these long green flag runs is maybe he's not the fastest guy at the beginning of the run, but he's usually pulling away by the middle to the end of that run. That didn't happen. Mikey Neal, that first run, had every bit the speed that Jameer Muhammad did. And as a matter of fact, Austin Edstrom did too, because he really closed down on that gap. Now, Austin and Jameer went to the back. Alex Huffman had a lot of speed earlier in the run. He lost a little bit to those 2 as the run wore on. But he had the same kind of speed. And then Chris Brown here, cycled through on pit stops, and he's new to the series. We don't know much about him, but he's holding his own out there. But you can cue the the Jaws music here for Justified right now as he's running down and looking to take the lead.
And he just did take the lead there. With about a tenth on him, he's running 31.6s to 31.7s on that last lap. So again, 1 lap difference, roughly about 0.1, about a tenth of the time. And that tenth was enough for him to get by him, and he kind of took by it pretty easy there, as he will be your new leader at the line, and that will mean his second lap led here in the race. So once again, we have another lead change, and now he will start racking up his laps. We may have 3 or 4 different drivers here that lead multiple laps before this race comes to a conclusion.
Yeah, and now's where we're going to start maybe seeing some funky strategies, because if you're a driver out there on the track, you're saying we're halfway through this race, we're all spread out now. We haven't seen a single caution. We've got a 50% fuel cap, so maybe we're not going far enough to really wear these tires too much, so maybe we're not going to see a caution. And, if I'm Alex Huffman 4 seconds back on the second run, I probably don't feel like I'm going to catch Mikey Neal. So now I got to get something going different strategy-wise. If I'm Jameer Mohammed and Austin Edstrom, 10 back, 14 seconds back, respectively, I'm probably not real confident that I'm going to make that up without a caution. So maybe I got to start thinking about strategy. So just curious to see what we see coming up here. If you don't think you can catch Mikey Neal and you don't think you're going to get a caution flag right now, change up the strategy.
Yeah, and note itself, a couple of things real fast. Austin Edstrom back on pit road. He's coming off now, a 9.9 second stop there for him. Right at the pit window here. That was even a shorter pit stop for him. He came down. Trevor Graffam came down, and everybody's coming down pit road as well. And, if you get a chance to go back here a lap or 2, maybe 3 laps.
Oh. Chris Brown spins it out, getting on the pit road there. Sorry about that, Charles.
That is not good, as he is recovered from it. I don't think he got into the wall, so that's good to him. But James Larillo is what I was talking about. He is now 6 laps down, and he was on pit road, so something happened to him that did not bring out a caution, and that was my pick here for tonight's win.
Yeah, James Larillo, we didn't get a chance to hit on it, but he had a 50-second pit stop his first time around, so he was working on some damage there. I want to go back to what we were just talking about and what you said about Austin Edstrom. A 9.9 second pit stop. What does that tell you, Charles? 2 tires.
2 tires, and
a full field run, and he takes 2 tires to get out. He's trying something different, just like we said. He's changing his strategy.
Yeah, he's definitely got to do something. Right now, he's back in 11th, 1 lap down. But again, there's still a bunch of guys that have not pitted. Once this all cycles out, assuming it does cycle out under green flag conditions, he should come out somewhere in 3rd place, roughly in there. So, a strategy there to try to get back to the front, and we'll see if it plays out here. We're starting to see some people get, like you said, our leader spinning, getting on pit road, so we're starting to see some spins and some damage. And damage obviously makes the truck in this case, not handle like it should, which could lead to a spin. So we'll see if those 2-tire strategy is the right call.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I don't know that it's ever you never feel good about it, because these trucks on this long run, they don't like 2 tires. But Jameer Mohammed too, he was breaking this up in equal runs, and he's running this thing out of fuel right now. So he's changed his strategy up. He's just coming in the pits now, but he ran a 25 or 26 lap stint. Basically took it down as far as he could. So he stayed out there extra laps. Austin Edstrom taking 2 tires. Chris Brown wrecking coming into the pits. Man, you got to like your chances right now if you're Mikey Neal and this thing can stay green. He's out there.
Yeah, he is, and I'm not sure what happened to Austin Edstrom. He does have some damage as well, and it looks like John Van Varillis, he is coming down pit road, but he will lead a lap here, so another new leader here, as he is going to relinquish the lead here to Jeremy Evans in the 4. And now Evans will lead his first lap. So we've had 7 different leaders here in the race. This is just crazy how many different leaders we have had.
Well, it's green flag pit stop, so that's going to cycle through. We know that the pit stops start on about lap 22, and you're out of gas on lap 26. So there's opportunities usually for about 4 different drivers to lead a lap there as everybody cycles out of the pit stops.
There is indeed, and it looks like the 4 of Jeremy Evans is going to bring it down to pit road here as we're on lap 50, and that should give the lead here to Tony Rice, who will lead his first lap right there. So now Tony Rice leading his first lap. I do believe he should anyway, as we'll look here. Not being shown as leading a lap. We'll see if he leads the next one by, as I don't see him as leading a lap yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but he's going to have to give it up here pretty soon. He's 24 laps, so he can do maybe 1 or 2 more laps here. He can get his lap if he hasn't got it yet. I think he's got it now, and should be pitting here shortly as Justified gets the lead back.
He is indeed, and he did not get the lap either. He actually had to pit before he could get to the line. So that lap will actually go to Mikey Justified Neal here. So Justified leading another lap. Once again, he has now led 5 laps, and he's back out front. And as I figured, Alex Huffman on that Austin Edstrom on that 2-tire stop in that 88 machine in 4th with 2 of his teammates in front of him. And surprisingly enough, after that pit stop for Chris Brown, he's still running 2nd.
Yeah, Austin Edstrom's making a play for a caution flag. He's a half a lap off the pace right now on those 2 tires. Almost 3/4 of a second off the pace. So he's in 4th place, but he's going to get ate up here by the guys behind him. He's looking for track position and hoping to get a caution out of that. Mikey Neal, great position right now. He's running away with this. He's had just a great run here. We know that he was working on his tire wear earlier in practice tonight. He was able to keep up with Jameer Mohammed, stay up front, let these other guys make mistakes, keep it clean, and now he's got a 3.5 second lead right now.
Yeah, and to jump back here real fast, I saw the car going slow. I thought we might have got that caution. Something happened here to the 64 of Tony Rice as he's coming back down pit road again. Looks like he has some damage to the front left. Ed Saul's back on pit road as well. So I'm wondering if maybe those two may have got together there, or if those 2 pit stops are just kind of independent of each other.
No, Tony Rice spun it out coming off of pit road. It's real easy there coming off pit road. This apron is tricky, and he just gave it too much gas and turned it right into the wall.
Definitely easy to do. You hit the gas on any of these NASCAR, whether it's the Xfinity truck or Cup cars. If you hammer that gas too hard before you really get up to, build that speed up, it will whip it around very fast. These are powerful cars. So unfortunate for him as he's still on pit road. We'll see if he makes it back out. Other than him, everybody is on track right now. So far as James Zarello did make it back out on the track, he is now 5 laps down though.
Yeah, and I just I see Mike Neal here in chat. Mikey's dad says it's sushi night. He's watching the cell phone, and Mike, I think you might want to just get that to go in a to-go box. Go home and plug that Chromecast in, because Mikey's up front and he doesn't show any signs of letting up here tonight. This is worthy of the big screen.
It is indeed worthy of the big screen. You may be seeing him throwing some grass through the infield here later on tonight, as it's really getting close to, you think about it, only 34 laps to go. We are over halfway done. So at this point, I do believe it is a 1 more pit stop race. We've had 2 under green flag conditions. I expect that to continue, but there's always that risk of a caution. But again, Mikey Neal out front here on lap 58. Caution free so far here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and just kind of looking through the field here a little bit, we've got a pretty good battle here with James Morgan, Austin Edstrom on his 2 tires, and Jameer Mohammed. They all caught Austin Edstrom, and we got looking like we might have a 3 wide there for a second, but they kept it at 2 wide.
Well, I don't know for how much longer, as they're still attempting it.
Yeah, Yeah, but you got some pretty good drivers in that bunch there. If there's anybody that can take it 3 wide, these guys can.
Yeah, and Jameer Muhammad is going to get by. And we'll see. He's running the 31 threes, 31 to threes for your leader of Mikey Neal. So, 10 to 13 laps not being too much of a difference. Mikey Neal just ran a 31.4, but Jameer Muhammad ran a 31.394, so basically a 31.4. So they're right there together. So he's not really gaining or losing on the leader. So he's just kind of hanging right there in fourth. And the one that wants the caution the most, you talked about him, that is Austin Edstrom. With those 2 tires, he's really getting eaten alive right now as Roger Muth looks to try to get by him to take 6th place.
Yeah, I think Alex Huffman would like a reset too, as well as Chris Brown. They've gone back. Chris Brown 4 seconds back. Alex Huffman hanging there at 8 seconds back. They would definitely love to have a reset, as would Jameer Muhammad, right? So we know he's running the fast laps right out there right now. He's got a little bit fresher tires than Mikey, 3 laps fresher, because we know he stayed out there and tried to get off on pit cycle. So he's running a few tenths of a second faster, what you'd expect, but he's 12 seconds back, 11.5, 12 seconds back. He's not going to catch Mikey Neal unless Mikey wrecks or we get a caution.
Yeah, and neither one of them, I think, is a very good chance of happening. Mikey Neal's out there just kind of hitting his marks, and that's exactly what he's new. Don't worry about the guy behind you right now. When you have 4 to 8, 12 seconds, don't mirror drive, and that's probably, I'm assuming he's not mirror driving. Just kind of hit your marks, do what you got to do, and if these guys manage to close that gap to 1 second or less, then you start worrying about them, because at that point they're coming. And they are a threat. But right now, 4 seconds to 12 seconds, like you said, there's no need to worry. I don't think he's going to catch him here. And at the point, even if he got close to catching him, we're fixing to be at pit stops here again in probably about 5 laps.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought we were going to have a caution flag there for a second. John Van Verillis and Trevor Graff in the back there going at it. And Van Verillis pushed up a little bit getting into one, and looked like he ran Trevor Graff up the track a little bit. Trevor Graff ended up lifting, and the 3 cars right there were able to keep it together. But I don't think he could have put a piece of paper between 2 of those cars there for a second going into one.
Yeah, definitely not sure you could. And here comes Trevor Graffman in the 47, as he is going to try on the high side to get by the 2 there of Jared Hagedorn. And it looks like the 2 is going to prevail on the bottom side as a 47 of Terry. Wow, I guess like Trevor Graffam almost scraped the wall just a little bit, but he did keep it off of it.
Yeah, another driver we haven't talked about too much that's in a 2-wide battle right now, the 99 of Justin Starr and the 38 of Cody Brett Levitt. These 2 guys going at it right now.
They are going at it side by side. It looks like Justin Starr is going to lose the spot to Cody Levitt, but I doubt that battle's over just yet. They're going to keep duking it out here. We're keeping an eye on those leaders. Even though we're back here, we are watching there. Still 4.5 seconds separating Mikey Neal and Chris Brown. And now it's 4.6. So that gap is actually growing, as it looks like Justin Starr may be one of the first ones to come down here, as he is going to go to pit road, and he locks it up and spins it on pit road. And that is going to cost him some time here, as he was trying to short pit and ends up spinning it out on pit road.
Yeah, Mikey Neal back up front dealing with some lap traffic right now. Got his hands full with 47 of Trevor Graffam trying to get by him. Looks like 47 of Trevor Graffam trying everything he can to stay on that lead lap right now, not wanting to go down a lap.
Yeah, he is definitely not. I mean, you don't want to go down the lap anytime, especially not when you're talking about not having any caution laps. You definitely don't want to go a lot down, because you have a very slim chance of getting it back. You have to get it yourself, as it looks like Mikey Neal is coming down, and the 132 locks it up.
Yeah, 132, Jack LaFleur.
Yep, LaFleur.
Looks like he locked it up. I think, is he new to this league? I don't recall him before.
Second race, so fairly new driver locking it up on pit road.
So he joined when you fired me.
Yeah, so we'll go with that one.
So pit stops are gone. This is the final pit stop if everything works out. If there's no cautions for Mikey Justified Neal. should be able to bring it home in the lead. If we get a caution, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Jameer Mohammed cycles to the front right now, and my guess is he's going to hang out there until he's out of gas and just hope that he can catch that caution.
Yeah, if he can stay out here, catch the caution, he'll be sitting good. If that caution doesn't come out, he's fast and he's always a threat to win. I just don't know if he'll be able to catch. I don't think he will. I think, pit strategy has definitely got him off. And whatever happened on pit road that took so long, that didn't help him either. So while he is always a threat to win, I don't think he has the best shot here tonight. I really think tonight's winner is going to be probably Mikey Neal or Chris Brown.
Yeah, Mikey Neal was able to get out of in front of Jameer Mohammed, so that would have been the big one for Jameer Mohammed is get Mikey Neal a lap down on this pit cycle, try to hold him a lap down for a couple laps, hope that caution comes out, trap the field a lap down, go get your fresh tires, and start back up front while everybody takes the waiver on and can't get their tires. So that was a big blow to Jameer Mohammed having Mikey Neal come out on the same lap.
Well, definitely it is. And we'll see. Looks like now the 14 of Jameer Mohammed is coming down pit road. We'll see. So far, the only two that haven't come down here for this set is Jeremy Evans and Jared Hagedorn. Jeremy Evans will take the lead here. And when it all cycles out again, looking here, that will give the lead to Mikey Neal once again.
Yeah, Mikey Neal with a dominating performance tonight. He started off, I think he started off in fifth place maybe, and drove it to the front, stayed right on Jameer Mohammed's bumper that whole first field run, and whatever it was that we missed in the first cycle of pit stops that got Jameer Mohammed and Austin Edstrom cycled back to the back was all it took, and Mikey Neal hasn't looked back since.
He hasn't indeed, and we want to give a big shout out to another donation that just came in. It was for Mikey Justified Neal Jr. is what it says in the notes. It must be Mike Neal in chat here. So nice donation there. Thanks for that. It will be put to good use here to keep us going on VRN. So definitely a big shout out to Mike Neal over in chat for the donation.
It's actually a bribe there, Charles. He's trying to pay you not to pick Mikey Neal anymore. See what happens? You pick Mikey Neal, he gets wrecked. You don't pick Mikey Neal, and he leads most of the race. I think that's what this is all about here.
Well, that very well could be. I didn't pick him here. And while he definitely has been the one to put out the best run here tonight, and he is doing fantastic. Still, there is the 4 of Jeremy Evans is going to come down now. The next one to come down is going to be Jared Hagedorn, but he has not come down yet, and he still has about one more lap, maybe 2, before he has to pit. But right there is second place, and I'm not sure Mikey Neal may be able to catch him before he pits.
Yeah, and I just want to point out on this last pit cycle again, Austin Edstrom took the other 2 tires. So he took the other 2 tires again. He is out there on some kind of crazy tire strategy trying to make things happen, and hats off to him for creativity and probably driving what has to amount to a handful right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle that myself. He definitely has a very good skill set to drive this car with only two new tires on it. I definitely know I couldn't do it. But that being said, his teammate Mikey Neal back up front, 16 laps to go. So 16 laps is all that separates Mikey Neal from doing some donuts and tearing up some grass here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, he just needs his teammate Austin Edstrom to keep it on a track now. That's what I'd be worried about if I was him right now, because I think Austin Edstrom has a handful with these with this tire strategy right now, and he's got himself in some traffic. He's a little bit slower than some of these other guys, so if we can survive the cautions, Mikey Neal's got this one.
Yeah, he does indeed, and again, I'm not sure how many wins that would be here for him, as we'll see if we can't pull up his stats here. That would be his second win. He did win in the truck series anyway. He won at Martinsville. So another little short track he won at, and he's had some pretty good runs here. 2/3, a first, and then 12th, 15th, and 13th. Those must have been the weeks where I picked him to win, as he didn't have the top 10 finishes that we're used to seeing from him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we got a battle back here starting to clear up, but back here with Austin Edstrom, man, there's about 4 or 5 trucks that are just cutting it up, dodging in and out of each other. I'm watching that because if the wreck's going to happen, that's probably where it's going to be right now, is these guys are just bobbing and weaving all over the place, trying to drive around each other.
Yeah, they are right there side by side. And again, some of these guys right out there, especially Austin Edstrom, he'd really love to see it. The question is, with 13 laps to go, he pitted, got 2 tires. With 12 to go at the line, would he come in and take them? I think that strategy was better off if, about, 20 to go, 30 to go, take 2 tires, and then caution come out. It would have been good. Here, if we get it with, 8 laps to go, I don't think anybody's really going to come in, so would that 2-tire stop benefit him then?
Well, no, the 2-tire stop hasn't benefited for him. He needed quick cautions, right? And if this was football, we'd call it a punt. Is what we talked about earlier. These guys were too far back, and it looked like the race we were spread out, so you got to assume we're going to go green the way it's going. And they were just too far back to catch the leader. So, that's where it's like, if you're not going to run them down, then let's try something else. Yeah, and so you had Jameer Muhammad running out there on fuel longer than he wanted to, and you got Austin Edstrom trying some crazy tire strategies.
Yeah, definitely is. And Jameer Muhammad currently 12 seconds behind still. 31.0 times compared to 31.4s. 10 laps to go. As fast as he is, he's not going to catch him, I don't think. Again, a caution or possibly something happening is what's going to take here. But he is battling Alex Huffman right now. That is for 3rd position. So it looks like he is still going to net himself a podium, even if he can't get the win.
Yeah. Nice drive back by Jameer Muhammad, but Alex Huffman's not going to give this up easy right now.
No, he's not going to give it up, and he's going to slide up in front of him right there. And it looks like we may see the 83 of Alex Huffman try to come back on the inside. Not sure. He did clear him, but that battle is still far from over.
Yeah, we got some lap traffic up there ahead of them that may end up becoming a part of this battle here, whether they want to or not. And we should see some good driving here.
Yeah, and we're reading a chat here as we were talking to Mike Neal's dad. He said back in February, Mikey actually got to go full speed around Charlotte, so he's got some real life experience on this track.
Well, it sure shows. That's pretty awesome. Always wanted to do that myself, so. Mikey Neal is just dominating things out here tonight. So, Mike, I think you've got your mission now. You need to get the schedule and go get him the Rusty Wallace or Richard Petty experience or whatever that is at every one of the tracks on the schedule next season.
Yeah, definitely go out there, run every track. If that's what it takes, definitely it's paying off for him here as he is flying around this track. He has now led 30 laps with 7 to go. He did lock up the most laps led. So, if he leads 37, he definitely will. But with 7 laps to go, nobody could catch him. So he has secured the most laps led here tonight with 6 to go. This could get very interesting, though, 5 laps or less. If the caution comes out, race is over. We're in a crunch zone now. Next time by, if the caution comes out after that, this race is over. Mikey Neal wins regardless of what happens.
Well, if I'm Mikey Neal right now, I've got a 5.5 second lead. I've got 5 laps to go. I can just totally blow a second a lap here, man. I am just going to slow down and make sure that I don't wreck, I don't get loose, I don't spin, and just watch that cushion right now. Just watch that interval. Slow down and keep it between the lines. Don't put yourself in any kind of position where you got to overdrive it. And this one is his.
It is indeed his. He's on the backstretch. And, looking, you can't even see a second place, barely, but there it is right there, second place of Chris Brown. And, again, he talking about a 5.5 second gap, and that may be up to 6 or 7 seconds before this is over. He's pulling away quite a bit. These guys obviously are doing everything in their power to try to get up there. But they're also having, like you said, to fight their own trucks. So they're not only having to try to catch the leader, but also try to not spin out themselves. Jamir Muhammad has cut that lead down from 12 seconds, about 12.34 seconds to 11.7. But 4 to go, not near enough time. He will probably finish in third.
Yeah, and the key there is 4 to go. If this race was to get a caution now, Mikey Justified Neal is our winner. So the only way right now that Mikey Neal can lose this race is if he is the caution.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening. He's on cruise control right now, as he's still actually running faster here. Chris Brown ran a 32.1. Mikey Neal just ran a 31.6. So he is a little bit faster there, so he doesn't show any signs of really slowing down. He's still pushing it out there as fast as he can.
Yeah, I think Chris Brown's got a handful there with that 32.117 because he was running comparable times to Mikey Neal, and something happened there. I don't know if he got loose or what there, but he lost about a half second on that lap. Or maybe he's just doing what we talked about. He's got 5 seconds back to Jameer, knows he's not going to catch Mikey. Keep between the lines and get yourself a nice second place podium finish.
Yeah, definitely is right there. You see Mikey Neal coming to the start-finish line, and there it is right there. It officially is 1 lap to go, presented by Northwest Racing Series. 1 lap separates Mikey Neal from victory lane, and it's going to be less than that as he is coming to the backstretch. So right about there, half a lap for Mikey Justified Neal to pull it into victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, he's just negotiating his final set of quarters, keep it under control on that quad oval, and then figure out what kind of burnout you're going to do.
He is indeed, and he's already wiggling it side to side as he crosses the line. Mikey Justified Neal will walk away victorious here tonight. So, can't wait to see what kind of celebrating he's going to do, as you can hear the fireworks already shooting off.
Yeah, and newcomer Chris Brown brings it home in second place, 6 seconds back, and another 5 seconds behind him is Jamir Muhammad. So we'll have an opportunity to ask him what happened. Something happened on that first pit stop, but he still drives it back for a podium finish.
He does indeed, and while we watch our winner here do some celebrating, we will go ahead and go through your unofficial race results. So I'll run through our top 10, and Jeff, if you want to finish this off, we will get ready for the post-race show where we get to talk to these top 3 drivers. But again, coming away with the win here tonight is going to be the number 8 of Mikey Justified Neal. What a run he did, leading 37 laps here. Coming in second is going to be the rookie, the number 1 of Chris Brown. A third, after coming back here, what a run for him, the 14 of Jamir Muhammad. Fourth place will be the 83 of Alex Huffman. And rounding out your 5th place here tonight will be the 39 of Roger Muth. In, of course, 6th place will be James Morgan. 7th place, Cody Levitt. 8th place, Austin Edstrom. 9th place will be Jeff Pogo. And 10th place will be John Van Varelis.
Yeah, finishing 11th place, 1 lap down, we had the number 2 truck of Jared Hagedorn. In 12th place, the 47 of Trevor Graffam. In 5th place, or not 4th place, 12th place, and 13th place, the 4 of Jeremy Evans. In 14th place, we have the 99 of Justin Starr. In 15th place, we had the 121 of Jack LaFleur. In 16th place, we had the 81 of Ed Sauls. In 17th place, we had your pick, the 13 of James Lorello. And bringing it home 18th was the 64 Tony Rice.
It was indeed, and that will be your unofficial race results. Again, barring any race control issues, we're going to step aside, get ready for your post-race show, and we're going to watch the 8 of Mikey Neal do some burnouts here. We'll see if he tears up that grass. We'll be right back here in just a few moments with your post-race show. All right, we are back here, ladies and gentlemen, with your post-race show, coming in third place here tonight. After, again, we just found out spinning it on pit road. Not the only one to spin it on pit road. We had several people do that here tonight. That is the 14 of Jameer Muhammad. And again, what a run, Jameer. As always, you find yourself somehow back up at the front, putting on a top 3 podium finish.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Charles. Yeah, it was a good start of the race. I started second, got up to first, and then heading down pit road, I just was over aggressive. I was a little too fast entering and spun it out again. This is like second time in about 3 weeks that I've done this from the lead, of course, and then it's just pretty much battling all the way back to get to third.
Oh, definitely, it was a great battle here. We were talking as far as usually we see, one or two drivers really dominate a race. That didn't happen here. Everyone led some laps. We had 8 different leaders here, 4 of which led double-digit laps here. So as far as this race goes, is it one of your favorite tracks? Did you kind of struggle a little bit, or was it just the competition has stepped up that much here at Charlotte that it made it that much more competitive?
Yeah, Charlotte isn't one of my favorite tracks. I kind of like more tracks that there's just more racing lines to race on, and everyone was pretty strong tonight. There was some stiff competition all the way through the field, and when I fell back to I think 9th, it was tough to get all the way back. I had to do a little bit of different strategy. I was hoping to catch a caution, but it was a lot of fun actually racing back to the front there. But yeah, it definitely was seemed pretty even once I got back there.
Oh, definitely, we saw a lot of competitiveness out there, so Overall, a great race, caution-free once again here. I believe this is like the second or third truck race, and maybe the fourth or fifth race for RACECORE this season that has gone caution-free. So outstanding job from all the drivers here to go caution-free. So we know you got some shout-outs and sponsors you want to do, so who would those be here for that third place finish here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Leo's Coney's Island and iRacing Drivers World. And shout out to my dad and my wife who's watching.
All right. Well, again, congrats on that solid top 3 finish once again. And finishing just ahead of him is the first time we have got to interview him. That is the number 1, Chris Brown, new to the league, at least as far as I know. We haven't got to talk to you before. You come in here, what I believe is your first race, maybe second, and you stick it in second place. So first off, how does it feel to come in here in one of your first races and just stick it right into second place on a podium finish?
Yeah, this is my first race. It's pretty exciting to finish second and be competitive in a new league to me. So yeah.
Well, definitely, it's always good to come in and show the guys how it is. You come in here and just literally say, "I'm here to stay. This is where I want to be, and I'm going to put it in the top for you in battle." See, looking here, you led 15 laps, so you tied for the second most laps led. So looking forward here to next week's races, we'll pull that up real fast. I'm not sure what it is. Actually, I don't have it here, so I don't know what it is right offhand. But going into next week here, with this second place finish being brand new, it always gives you a little bit of momentum boost getting a solid finish. But being that you are brand new to the league and get it, does that kind of make it a little bit more of a boost?
Yeah, it always gives you a boost when you get a good finish, especially in a brand new league to me. So I'm looking forward to next week. Hopefully we can get another good finish out of it.
Well, we'll definitely be looking for you in the top 3, top 5. You were there all night long, putting a terrific run together here for your first race. Any sponsors you want to shout out, or just anyone you want to shout out there that might be watching?
Yeah, I give a shout out to Leo's Coney Island. If any of my friends and family are watching, hey.
All right, well, again, congrats on second place here tonight. And I believe Jeff has caught up with our winner. That is the 8 of Mikey Justified Neil.
Mikey Justified Neil, you got me there, buddy?
Yeah, I got you, Jeff.
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you've come and cheered me on in a couple of my races. So it's hard not to root for you. Plus, we got your dad, and he's just about the most awesome fan in chat. Every one of these broadcasts, he's there. Tonight, he's eating sushi at a restaurant, watch on his phone. He sees you getting the lead. He races home to get it on the big screen. What a what a great fan. So with all that going on, always fun to see you do well here. Your dad wants us to pass along a nice race, so he's pretty excited. So why don't you just tell us about the race a little bit here tonight?
Well, this race for me was actually one of the more better races I've had. I think main reason I won is because I didn't really have any mistakes this race. I learned at Kansas you can't really go fast on pit road, so I kind of backed up the entry a little bit. I made sure I was smooth on pit road. I made sure I was away from the wall tonight, just kept it in the racing groove, and it worked for me really, really well. And I think that's the main reason why I got it up to the front. And everybody else around me, I think all lap cars, I had no problems. Everybody was racing really, really well. And it was actually really, really tight at the beginning before pit stops. I think everybody up front was just about even. So it was really, really fun, too.
Yeah, so, we know that you guys have been talking about, everybody's been talking about the long run that Jameer Mohammed's got going on here lately. He's just got something on the long run that nobody else has. I can't explain why he's so fast at the tail end of these tire runs. And so I dropped down to your guys' practice to check in with you before the race. And you were working on your tire wear. I mean, you didn't specifically tell me that, but I heard you guys comparing tire wear numbers after runs and talking about some pretty high percentages left. So Did you feel pretty good about your chances of hanging with Jameer Muhammad coming into this race tonight?
I felt a lot better than about 4 weeks ago, I'll tell you that. It's very, very tough to get good at something in a couple of weeks, and it's going to take time. But as of right now, I think I'm competitive enough where I can stay near him, not really up with him, though, because he's really, really good. And him and Austin both, they're so good on the long run, and it's really, really tough to beat both of them. But as of right now, I think I could hang in a little bit, but I'm not going to be up there with them. But like I said, as of right now, I think I'm in a decent position, and if I keep it up, I mean, if I don't make any mistakes, I mean, I think I have top 5 races just like this, and that was the one thing I was really, really worrying about coming into here. But yeah, definitely my tires. I was looking at them a little bit, and they seemed really, really decent. They were very just like a practice as well. So it was really fun to get to run a good race with it and actually get to compare it to my practice runs.
Well, we knew that you were working on those tires, and we knew that after that first field run, when you were still right there on Jameer Muhammad's bumper, I think we even mentioned it, that you had to be feeling pretty good about where you were sitting. And as to the last 4 or 5 weeks, we talked about you extensively in the pre-race show about how we thought you would close the gap, and you were up there right now, probably running with Bryson Barker, Jameer Muhammad, and Austin Edstrom is one of the more consistently fast guys in this league. And of course, you made us look like geniuses by going out there and just running away with this thing tonight. I don't think you had any mistakes. Once you got out front, all you did was pull away. The other guys made mistakes, and I mean, you just cruise control to the win. So congratulations, Mikey Neal. Excellent race. Do you have any shout outs or anybody, any thanks, anything like that going on? Something you want to say to your dad there in chat?
Yeah. I got to thank my dad. I know he's watching. I know he's spamming the chat there. I know he's really excited. So I got to thank you for watching. I know my mom's watching. I got to thank her. I also got to thank KM, Jack, Alex, Roger, and Austin. I mean, like I said, every week, these guys help me a ton. And these guys definitely helped me at this track. And I got to give them part of the win too, because they helped me so much. And I don't know what to say. I mean, they do so much for me, and I really, really appreciate it. Got to thank you guys, Charles, Jeff. I love getting to listen to you guys every week, and it's always fun having you guys around. And it's we really, really appreciate it here. I also got to thank iRacing Drivers World, Global Building Contractors, and Leo Coney Island. League wouldn't be here without them. Got to thank them. And yeah, I also got to thank Justin and Dan. They do a great job hosting this thing every week, and I can't wait to see for the next couple of races.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations, Mikey. We'll let you get back to the celebration with the rest of your teammates here, and we'll pass it back to Charles to wrap this thing up.
All right. Again, all you can say is outstanding race here tonight. These guys putting on a heck of a show for you here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Once again, here for the RACECORE Online Racing League. We want to thank all the sponsors and partners that come on board to make this possible. Of course, Walls Beard Co., Sim Speed Shop, Northwest Racing Series, Ohio IndyCar League, and of course iBog here on the broadcasting side of things. And on the racing side of things, general sponsor here for tonight's race, presenting sponsor of the Xfinity race on a Sunday night, that is Global Building Contractors. A big shout out to them. iRacing Drivers World, again, coming on board. Make sure you head on over to their page and give them a like as well, so you can join that page. And, of course, the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, that is Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills. If you're in the Rochester Hills area, go over and get you some great food. Not just Coney's, of course, so they have lots of great food. Head on over there and give them a shout-out on their Facebook pages as well for all the sponsors here, to let them know you appreciate what they do here for the series. That being said, we also do want to thank all the fans for hanging in here with us tonight for the race. And as always, definitely, if you haven't before, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified of all the races as soon as you hit that little bell. And, of course, hit that thumbs up if you like the racing. That lets us know here in the booth at VRN. Lets these other fans know, the drivers know, and all the sponsors and partners know that you appreciate all they do to bring you some great racing and a great broadcast here for us. So we definitely appreciate it. That being said, we are going to wrap it up here for tonight. So we will see you tomorrow night at 7:35 Central Time, 8:35 Eastern, as we go live for Upper Edge. So we will be back then. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you once again here on YouTube tomorrow night.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.